If you've ever felt like you're stuck on this financial treadmill that just keeps speeding up every single month, believe me, you are not alone. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the inescapable math of personal finance. We're looking at exactly why that treadmill effect happens, and more importantly, we're diving into a fascinating strategy from our source material to help you break free from the limits of your working hours. So, let's just get right into it.
Okay, starting off with Section 1, the harsh financial reality.
Let's strip away all the fluff, shall we? We tend to overcomplicate our money with endless spreadsheets and crazy industry jargon, but at the end of the day, it boils down to one very simple, very strict rule. Math doesn't lie. Income minus expenses equals money left over. That's it. It is the absolute ultimate measure of whether you're moving forward or slipping backward financially. Honestly, it really doesn't matter how prestigious your job title is or how many crazy hours you clock. If this basic subtraction equation isn't working in your favor, well, the whole system just breaks down.
And that brings us to a really critical diagnostic question. I want you to think of this like a leak in a boat. If you run that calculation today and then run it again a few months from now, what's the water level doing? If you find that the leftover amount is shrinking, or maybe it's significantly lower than it was this time last year, you're facing a pretty serious problem. In real terms, it means your expenses are aggressively eating up a bigger and bigger slice of your income. You're not just standing still here, your boat is slowly sinking, and you are actively moving backward. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, the limits of your time. Now, naturally, your gut instinct to fix that shrinking margin is probably just to put your head down and grind, right? Work harder, pick up some extra shifts, grab some overtime, maybe even start a second job. But here's the catch. That strategy slams headfirst into a harsh biological reality, the number 24. There are literally only 24 hours in a day, no matter how much willpower you've got or how insanely driven you are. If your income is exclusively tied to the hours you clock in, you are absolutely going to hit a ceiling. You simply can't outwork rising expenses forever just by trading more hours, because eventually you just run out of time. Now let's look at Section 3, the threat of rising prices. So that physical limit on your time hits an absolute brick wall when we introduce personal finance's invisible enemy, inflation. You're basically fighting a war on two fronts here. You've got your limited time on one side and the ever-increasing cost of life on the other. Think about the relationship between your income and your expenses. If your paycheck is staying pretty flat, or just bumping up in tiny little increments, but the cost of your groceries, your rent, and your gas are steadily trending upward, well, that gap between them just completely vanishes. If your paycheck isn't growing faster than your expenses, your actual purchasing power is just quietly bleeding out.
So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that just surviving today isn't enough. There's this huge misconception that if your salary stays exactly the same, you're at least maintaining the status quo. But it's actually like trying to walk up a down escalator. Maintaining the same income isn't maintaining your financial position at all. The ground beneath you is actively shifting. It's pulling you backward. So in the real world, standing still literally means you are losing ground.
All right, moving into Section 4, the digital asset solution.
Since we've established that you literally cannot work infinite hours to beat these rising prices, we need a total pivot in strategy. The answer? It lies in building income that is completely uncoupled from your time. According to the source material, the real path toward financial freedom is to own what they call digital assets. Basically, this is an income-producing asset, a system, or even an audience that just keeps producing opportunities and money even when you aren't actively on the clock. We're talking about building a machine that works for you while you sleep, while you're on vacation, or while you're just out living your life.
And it's so important to notice the fundamental contrast between these two ways of earning a living. On one hand, you've got the standard 9-to-5. Relying entirely on that paycheck leaves your financial future super vulnerable because, again, it's chained to a severely limited resource, your waking hours. But on the flip side, digital assets represent a scalable future. Because they generate income and opportunities when you aren't working, they effectively smash right through that 24-hour cap on your earning potential.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, building your financial future.
So how do you actually execute this? Let's bring this down to earth with a concrete example of how you can start right now, all while your day job keeps paying the bills. Let's take an email list. Step 1, you build an audience around a super specific niche you know a lot about. It could be anything, restoring vintage watches, or maybe coding in Python. People voluntarily give you permission to pop into their inbox because they actually value what you have to say. Step 2, once you've built up that trust, you recommend relevant offers to that audience. And step 3, through that process, you slowly develop a sideline income stream. You know what the true beauty of this system is? Sending an email to 10 people takes the exact same amount of time and effort as sending it to 10,000 people. It scales beautifully, and it doesn't demand a single extra minute of your day.
Now, the ultimate takeaway from this explainer is absolutely not that you should go in tomorrow and quit your job. Instead, the strategy is to use your current income right now to fund the creation of these digital assets. Start building the systems, grow those audiences, generate those separate income streams that function completely independent of your active work. Because that is how you build a powerful financial engine, one that can grow right alongside and ideally way faster than your ever-increasing living expenses. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. Ask yourself honestly, are you trading all of your limited, precious time just to stay afloat today? Or are you ready to use what you have right now to start building digital assets that will actually work for you tomorrow? The math behind all of this? Well, it's inescapable. But the strategy you choose to take next? That is entirely up to you.